Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your host. So after 12 years of modeling on the QVC channel, what is a model to do? Tara Lassiter decided to trade fashion modeling for funneling. Tara found that by launching an online business with the help of funnels, that helped her escape what she calls her golden handcuffs. Tara Lassiter helps entrepreneurs achieve time freedom by packaging their talents into digital products, building life-first businesses, and growing impactful personal brands so that they can escape their golden handcuffs too. So greetings, Tara Lassiter. Welcome to the Home Business Podcast. Please say hello.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So how is everything going in north central Florida? You said it's chilly?
Yeah, it's unusually chilly today, so we're a little bundled up. I feel bad saying it's chilly because 50s or 60s are not chilly for most people. But
do you have any idea how cold it is up where I'm at? I didn't tell you I'm calling from the Twin Cities area. So you start talking March or February and it's 50s. That's
could be balmy
warm,
for some
sunny
people.
day.
Yes.
So how's everything going in your day to day?
Yeah, things are going great. I'm really excited to be here.
Good. Well, thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to join us. So Tara Lassiter, let's get to know you better. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you make the leap from QVC model to digital marketer? And I heard there might have been a little burnout involved with that.
Yeah. So QVC one, it was 24 hours live, but it was the best I think of it like a direct response incubator because I learned firsthand the words, the phrases, the tactics that get people motivated to act quickly. And in their case, it was buy. So I really learned what copywriting was because I had a show. And in 1 hour, we sold $1 million worth of a beauty product. And I was so excited because everyone was cheering and there was just this
it's like a game show, it sounds like.
Yes, it was like an infectious energy on the set. But at the same time, I was like, wait a minute, I only made $100. So how do
I'm trying to do the math here. You said $1 million of product and you got 100 bananas out of that?
Yes.
Oh, there's something wrong with that.
Right. So I knew that the skill set that I wanted to learn the skill set that made that type of profit possible. And I went to Google, I went online and I started to research and I found out what copywriting was. I found out what direct response was. And I really took a deep dive on learning the principles of persuasion and understanding why QVC was so successful. But it wasn't until around 2014 that 24-hour schedule started to catch up to me. And I had a bit of a hissy fit on set. I was kind of triggered. I was overwhelmed.
Can we view that on YouTube somewhere?
No, it wasn't as dramatic as it seems.
I'm trying to say, so you had to go 24 hours straight?
Yeah, it was live. So it wasn't unusual for me to have a schedule that was, a 3 p.m. show and then a 7 p.m. show and then a 3 a.m. show. And then I would go home. This was before I homeschooled and I would get my son ready for school. I would take him to school. I would take a nap. I would go back and do it again. So no really day was ever the same, but no week was the same. I didn't really have a good sleep schedule. So it wasn't a very healthy environment for me physically. So I wasn't able to be my best.
All right. Now I'm beginning to understand that burnout. Well, Tara, how did acting and modeling make you a better marketer?
Well, I'm not afraid of no, right? Like you can't get every audition. No one books every gig. So I now know that every no moves me closer to a yes. And if I did get a no, it just wasn't the right one for me, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure.
Yeah, I get all my no's for these podcasts. We've been on my podcast, so it just gets me closer to a yes. Thanks for being on.
Right. So I have really thick skin and I think that helps me as a marketer because I'm not afraid to try something. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to give something my all and leave it in the room and let it marinate and see what becomes of it. I know a lot of people want to be perfect. And that's another thing that leads to that burnout because they're trying to be right all the time. But imperfect action is really my motto for this year. And I'm just pushing myself forward, pushing my clients forward. Let's try some things. Let's play. We're entrepreneurs. We have the freedom to see if things work. We don't have to follow the rules all the time. So really experiment.
Have a flexible response. I think that was the name of a ship I was once on.
Ooh.
Entrepreneurs are often overwhelmed by online marketing.
Mhm.
Tara, where should they start? Where should they begin?
So marketing your business is separate from sales. So that's the first thing that I try to make clear is that marketing is really building awareness. And you want to cast your net wider than you think you need to. For an entrepreneur, specifically one who works from home, which would be in your audience, they're likely a single team or they have a small team. Don't neglect your home. Don't neglect your warm network. Don't neglect the people that already know you, that you've worked with either in previous positions or in previous businesses, your current clients. I think marketing first starts with your warmest network, and then really one by one. I know it's not the most thrilling thing, but one by one, making connections. It's coffee
You're
chats.
talking a lot of networking then out
Yes.
on, yeah, and which, lines up perfectly with too much social media.
Right. Like we need a balance. And I love a 15-minute coffee chat. That's one of my favorite things to offer through LinkedIn. And that's something that really helped me build my business when I was first starting. And I have a great network because of that. And that's something you can also do in person. Attending events really changed my business. I got to know people. You really solidify a relationship when you give them one-on-one time. Really, for
Right.
your first 100, 1,000 people in your network, you want to talk to them. You want to see if you can reach out and touch those people.
Well, cool. Well, let's get a little more into the depth of funnels. Funnels sound a little bit
Mhm.
complicated for lead generation. Can you explain them to me like the 5-year-old child that I actually am?
Yeah, right. So they can get really, really complicated, but they don't have to start out complicated. So the first thing, if you think of the shape of the funnel, they're widest at the top. So that's where I talked about spreading your widest net. So that starts with your traffic. That's your impressions. Those are the people who know who you are. They know what you do because of your headlines and the title that you've given yourself and the name of your business, but they might not know how you can help them. So you're moving them through the funnel as it gets narrower, and that helps them decide if you are a good fit for them or if they should move forward with your business. So we think of the funnel as stages of awareness. People, if they have a problem, they're typically looking for a reason to solve that problem. You don't want to target people who don't know they have a problem. That's a much bigger sell. But if the next point in the
Yeah,
funnel,
they don't know they have a problem.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Advil doesn't really target people who don't know they have a headache, but if you know
Right.
if you have a headache, you're looking for headache remedies. So likewise, you want to target people who know they have the problem that you solve. And I created a little framework. I call it AIM because it helps me think of like a bullseye. So the first part is awareness. The second part is intention. And the third part is motivation. So if you think about that awareness, that's your traffic. The second part is intention. That's someone showing you that they're interested in solving that problem, whether that's in clicks or replies. And then motivation is when they're reaching out to you and making it clear that they're looking urgently for what you need.
Okay,
So
so
a
that's a
funnel,
good overview on funnels. Without getting too technical, how can a budding entrepreneur create a simple lead funnel?
a simple lead funnel is easiest in your email service provider. So if you have an email list, you should have an email list. Most businesses do. And most of them now offer a landing page builder. You just want a simple landing page that tells people the problem you solve and how to get in contact with you for more information. So that's where that lead generation, that motivation demonstrates itself. And you take that link on that landing page and you want to put that everywhere you can, in your social media bios, on your business cards, and the footer of your website. It could even be a pop-up, but you want to plaster that everywhere so that people have the opportunity to make it clear that they're looking for the services that you provide.
Yeah, that I make that point. That's such a good point that you're reminding on is a simple landing page. You
Mhm.
know, I talk to people, you can't sell from a landing page. You've got to just kind of get started and look
Yes.
at it as a process.
Yes, it's a complete funnel and like a bullseye, right? Like you continue in that bullseye and it gets closer and closer to the center of that circle. But the first contact is not the center. Very rarely is the first contact a home run. It's the center of the circle. It's a process. It's a journey.
Right. Tara, you like to emphasize sustainable traffic strategies. If you can please explain this, and how this can be linked to funnels.
Yeah. So I read some statistics this morning about lead generation, and I read that most businesses spend 6 hours a week on social media. But we didn't sign up for our businesses to be social media like networkers, like that we want to actually serve our clients and not just interact with them or potential clients online. So when I say sustainable, I really think of putting consistency in a container and finding a way to market your business in a way that you can continue to do. I like to think of things as seasons, and I tell my clients to think of things as seasons. So in terms of social media, pick one platform and pick a specific amount of time that you're going to be active on that platform. So if it's LinkedIn, are you going to post once a week, 3 times a week? Are you going to network once a week, 3 times a week? For how long? 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? You pick what works for you, your lifestyle, and your business, and then you stick to it. For the
You're
season,
saying try to just focus on one
I
social
would,
media that's the best fit for you.
I definitely, because when you try to be everywhere all at once, you burn out. So the people who can be everywhere, they likely have teams. So until you're able to hire out your social media to another agency or another contractor, the best thing you can do is really deepen your relationships on one platform. That's something that's very sustainable, and it's also more enjoyable because then you don't have to learn all of the algorithms. You can focus on one.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the problem I have. I try to hit all the social media, and then I see I just it becomes a wall, and I don't want to climb over it. Then the next thing you know,
Yes,
it's been a week has gone by, and I haven't posted to any of them. So
right.
yeah, that's
It's
probably some good advice to follow. Tara, I see that the key link here with funnels, is to capture email addresses, the lead
definitely.
generation. How can we nurture new leads and turn them into customers and clients?
Email is where I first started with copywriting. It's still my first love. It's still my favorite. I love all the things that you're able to track and accomplish with emails. And also, you don't have the noise that you have on social networks. So once you've
Mhm.
pulled that traffic from in person or social networks or an event or a podcast or wherever else you're building traffic, once you're able to bring them to your email list, you nurture them to a sale. I have a framework for that I call Howdy. It's a welcome sequence framework that I have. You can see it on my website too. But
Mhm.
basically, you want to make sure that you're giving people enough time to know, like, and trust you. You're demonstrating your expertise. You're demonstrating the results you've been able to get for your clients. And then you also demonstrate how you can help them to sell themselves on you so that you don't have to do the heavy lifting.
And you're trying to do that without actually having a conversation, a physical conversation. You're trying to do that through, through your web presentation and all. Or can you somehow mix in, like a phone call with that, or do you ever try video? Uh,
Definitely. So a
that.
welcome sequence is essentially a book a call sequence, but it's
Mhm.
helping them move to that next step. Just like it's a funnel and it's a continuous process. Not everyone's going to book a call after the first email. It might take
Mhm.
7 follow-ups. It might take 10 follow-ups. It might take 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how long your sales funnel is. So you don't want to assume that they're not interested just because they weren't ready at that moment. They've demonstrated some interest in you and your products, and you want to continue to nurture that relationship until it turns into a conversion of some time.
Well, I've been waiting all program to ask this question because it says it gets you all worked up.
Oh, I know
Tara,
you're fast.
share what are your views on the phrase passive income?
Oh, it's like the biggest lie in online marketing. I really think
Don't sugarcoat it. Give it to us
the
straight here.
yeah, the idea that you can build a business passively is just, it's a lie. In 2023, it's impossible to put something online and walk away from it and collect money from it forever. The amount of work that's involved in being an entrepreneur, whether you're online or offline, is great. And we all need a network. We all need to take care of ourselves, and we all need mentorships, and we need plans, because this is not for the faint of heart. And if you wanted something easier, it's not that
Now
jobs.
now I understand why, and now I see the connection because I've seen so much with funnels.
Mhm.
Funnel build your business, put it on auto drive, and it shows somebody sitting at under a palm tree at the beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Like they don't get sand in their laptop. You know you're going to
Oh,
get sand in that
okay.
laptop. But yeah, so that's just an unrealistic representation of what entrepreneurship is. Um, Funnels can automate points of that process. So those emails can be written once and sent to multiple people, but they still have to be written. You still have to manage the tech of the funnels and make sure that things are tested and operating properly. You still have to test your subject lines and your click-through rates, and you're still watching things even after you've created them. It's never completely hands-off, and everything has an expiration date. So an ad that was converting really well for 3 or 6 months, that doesn't mean that it's going to convert forever. So you have to always be experimenting and staying flexible, and ultimately
It's a tool. It's not a
tool.
solution. It's a marketing tool.
It's
And
not
you
a
can't
magic
look at
wand.
it as some, well,
Definitely.
as we go to wrapping things up, what is one thing a podcast listener can do tomorrow morning to get started with funnels and lead generation?
So after you've created that simple landing page that I mentioned, I want you to send it to someone, anyone, directly. We often talk about inbound lead generation, and that's attracting customers, but we don't want to forget outbound, where you're just sending a message on LinkedIn, hey, I created a newsletter or an article or a PDF, or this is a quick podcast that I've been on, and I think it might be helpful to you. Sign up here. Let me know if you're interested, and get in the habit of really putting yourself out there and creating the relationships and not waiting for opportunities to come to you, because entrepreneurship isn't passive.
So take an action step. Well, Tara Lassiter, it's been a great discussion on your success and lead generation through funnels. Do you have any final points you'd like to share?
Thanks for being here. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active, and I would love to continue the conversation.
Well, great. That was a quick wrap up. Brief and to the point, as it should be.
Yes.
Took me by surprise. Thank you
I'm
for
sorry.
joining us today, Tara, on the Home Business Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
To learn more about Tara Lassiter, please, and her marketing expertise, please visit taralassiter.com or our podcast website for more information on guests. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at our website, homebusinessmag.com. Read the book, The Startup Home-Based Business Startup Guide. For more info, visit homebusinessmag.com and homebusinessexpo.com. I'm Richard Henderson saying anchors away. We'll talk with you soon. Until then, make it a great home-based funnel fury day.